Good evening. I'm Linda Colbert, Mayor of the Town of Vienna. Welcome to Mayor at Your Service. Tonight is Tuesday, November 10th, and we're here with some volunteers from our community. Before we get to that program, though, I first wanted to start with Lieutenant Salmar has a report from the police, and we'll start with him.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Just want to make sure you can hear me. Hi.
Yes, sound great.
Yes. Okay, great. As you know, over the summer and into the fall, we had multiple vehicle tampering cases, several vehicle theft cases. That appears to be tapering off as we go into the last quarter of the year. We did, or we were able to make an arrest in D.C. related to one of our vehicle theft cases. It was a short foot pursuit followed by an arrest. It was a young juvenile male who was not from this area. He was from D.C. And we anticipate making a couple more arrests in the near future related to some of our vehicle thefts. But in every one of our cases, the vehicles were left unlocked, unsecured with the keys inside. So it is either that the crimes are tapering off or we are getting more help from the community, keeping their doors locked, but we're having fewer and fewer cases as we go forward. So that is great news for us, and I think great news for the community as well.
Okay, thank you.
That is pretty much my report. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, Vienna, remember, lock your doors of your cars at night, and we will be safer. So the next thing is there anyone from the audience that is from a group that would like to announce? Yes, come forward and just state your name and address. Well, it's not a council meeting, but go ahead and do that. And then what group you're with.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Bob McCahill with the Northeast Vienna Citizens Association. And I would just like to take this opportunity to invite you, to invite anyone here or the watching audience to attend our next NEVCA member meeting. It's next Thursday, November 19th at 7:30, and we're going to hold it via Zoom. And our featured speaker will be our Mayor Linda Colbert. I can't thank you enough for finding time to join us. If you go online at nevca.org, nevca.org, you'll be able to register by email and you'll receive instructions on how to attend. We're looking forward to having you and anyone else to tune in. And if you are there at nevca.org, you'll find our latest newsletter, Nevca newsletter. And it features, for instance, a cozy murder mystery novel set in Vienna, a latest book, an update on the Eye to Eye program, so important for our pedestrians, an update on public schools here in the community by our NEVCA member and Hunter Mill representative, Melanie Marin, something on the improvements of Beulah Road around Wolf Trap School, and a little note on the Christmas coming up, as it's usually recognized by the Committee for Helping Others. As you know, the NEVCA sponsors several boxes usually to collect food during the pre-Christmas 2 months. Well, because of the COVID-19 situation, we're not doing that. But CHO is looking for donations and anything else. And if you go to the CHO site, you'll find how to do that. We also have an update on mulching at Beulah Road, an update on our own farmers market on Beulah Road that happens on Sundays, and a Piney Branch restoration update as well. Thank you so much. nevca.org. See you next Thursday.
Okay, Bob, that'll be fun. NEVCA has a great newsletter, so it's definitely something to look at. And I don't think we have anyone on Zoom at this time. Is that correct? Okay, so we're good that way. Okay, so we can start our program. Well, this is so exciting. You know, we're having this pandemic and community members have stepped up and it's amazing. So many people are involved and I'm so happy that you all came here tonight. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce you all. This is Michelle Devela. She is from Rustic Love, and we have Karen Covell, and she is zooming in with us tonight from Belong. and Lydia Russo from Vienna Va Foodies. So tonight, we just want to learn a little more about your organizations and all the good that you are doing for Vienna. It's amazing. And so my first question, and we'll start with you, Karen, with Belong, because Michelle and Lydia kind of have, their organizations kind of go together, they work together. So we're going to start with you. And Belong is a great group, and I just wanted to know how and why did the organization start, and then you can also kind of lead in with what does the organization do?
Well, Belong is a nonprofit in Vienna that was launched by a group of local churches 3 years ago, led by Vienna Presbyterian Church, to address the needs of our more vulnerable neighbors. Vienna is, well off, but we do have in our midst, even prior to COVID, families that struggle to access resources and struggle economically with low-paying jobs. So members of different churches were motivated by their faith to love our neighbors, and building upon already established relationships that we had made at Cunningham Park with the Vienna Park apartment families, through camps and mentoring, we decided to come together with other stakeholders. We invited friends from that community and invited government agency representatives and businesses and nonprofits to come together and talk and look at what are the good in our community, what are the good things about our community, but what are the challenges that people have in the community, and what are the felt needs, and how, so over this series of conversations, we came up with practical interventions that we could do to address the felt needs. And those are the programs that Belong works on. So our vision is a loving and inclusive community where all belong and have equal opportunities for success, where our tagline is neighbors loving neighbors. And what we do, the areas that we really highlighted so our mission is to demonstrate God's love in action by our services to empower, equip, and integrate underserved populations in our community. So we work in education, specifically right now with after-school programs and summer programs, summer enrichment programs for kids at Cunningham Park, so it's in elementary school right now. With parents as well, with parenting classes. We do nutrition support. That was a felt need, so we've done support of the backpack, supplemental food for the backpack program, providing vegetables for families in the Vienna Park apartments and talking about nutrition and how to cook them, educating kids on nutrition. We've done some job support, training, skill building, and not so much recently because of COVID, but community engagement is a key factor of what we see as our role to bring people together, to help neighbors love neighbors. We need to know each other, right? So we've had potlucks and festivals and Bible studies and a variety of different events prior to COVID where we would come together to build relationships. And again, it's all about neighbors loving neighbors.
I love that. That's awesome. And so so many people, of course, hear about Vienna Foodies, and we're going to get to the hearts. I mean, everybody sees those all around town too. Yeah. So let's start with Vienna Foodies. Now, Belong started before the pandemic, but we'll get back to that in a minute. I think Foodies is something that started during the pandemic. Is that right? So Lydia, can you tell us a little bit about how you started and what you all do?
Yes. So Vienna Va Foodies group started actually before the pandemic, but our mission has adapted and changed since all of this has started. I started the group with my two friends, Katie and Chris Drinketh, and our main purpose was just to talk about food. Vienna has such a vibrant scene, always new restaurants. We love to eat, and we were always bumping into each other at restaurants. So we said, let's make a little group, talk about the dishes that we love, and bring everyone together. Well, then the pandemic happened, and during that time, our group was around 1,000 people. But when the pandemic happened, we became a lifeline to restaurants. It shot up to, now we're at 8,000 members. And I had gone into full isolation when this all happened. I'm a caregiver. So I was in my room. I said, how can I help? And I focused on, first I wanted to send meals to our firefighters because I volunteer there. And every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, with the group and the members, we'd coordinate deliveries, lunch for them. And the whole point of that was to support all the restaurants when everything was shut down. And then it kept growing. People said, well, how about we do the police? How about we do the post office, the pharmacies, public works, parks and recreation, grocery store workers? And then as time developed, my world opened and I started learning that there's actually a lot of food insecure families. So it kept adapting and growing, partnering up with many organizations, people, citizens, full trust. Most of them have never met me before. And the donations from the group was coming in and they would either coordinate on their own. I would just tell them where to go, what time, or they would trust me by sending me a Venmo donation and say, do all the logistics, this is my contribution, feed whoever needs to be fed today. So,
wow,
yes.
that's a lot. It's amazing. And I didn't even know all that because I was watching and I thought, well, how does she getting all this done? And I was making some deliveries for Social Burger and some places that I know you partnered with.
Yes.
But there's a lot of coordination and a lot of, like you said, groups that we'll probably get back to.
Yes.
Okay. And now the hearts that everybody sees around town, Rustic Love. So Michelle, tell us, how did you start? It's a neat story. And then what do you all do?
Okay, we started after the pandemic started, and it actually all came about because I was invited to the Foodies group by a mutual friend of ours, and I saw all of the good work that Lydia was doing. And during this terrible time, especially early on in the pandemic with so much unknown happening, I was so inspired by what she was doing, and our family wasn't really contributing. I was put on a long-term furlough, and we were not able to really contribute to restaurants. So my kids and I decided that we wanted to try to put something together, and I saw on Facebook a family up in Delaware that had put together some wood signs that said hope, and there were some hearts and other things that I thought were just really cute. So we had some wood in our basement, and we decided to stick it out in the backyard. They were not doing too much in school last spring, and summer was coming, and there was not much going on there. So we started to make a few signs and hope to maybe donate a couple $100s to Lydia and feel like we did something together, and posted that we had these signs, and it just kind of somersaulted and catapulted throughout the summer into this bigger thing where we are now have merchandise. And I ended up partnering with a wonderful woman in town who owns her own business doing screen printing and embroidery, and we have gear and merch and continue to do the signs, and we donate all of the proceeds to Lydia to help with the food insecure families and first responders in our community.
That's amazing. I think you told me you started with 10 signs on Vienna Virtual Yard Sale.
Yeah, we had a dozen signs. I didn't even post them on Foodies. I put them on the yard sale site that Laura Goyer manages, and they went really fast. And so we had some more wood and decided to make some more and kept doing different waves. And it was amazing, the response from the community.
Oh, that's amazing. So how has your group, and you may have mentioned it a little bit, the next question is, how has your group changed during the pandemic? So Karen, you Belong was a group before the pandemic, but of course now that we've got COVID going on, I know you've had to change a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Our work has changed, and we also have just seen the generosity of the community. It's been really incredible. When the pandemic shut everything down, one of the big concerns right away was, what about the food insecure families? They're already insecure, and they have jobs. So now if they have no jobs, what's going to happen? So people from the community came together, school administrators, nonprofits, churches. We had a socially distanced meeting. One of the people that came was Jordan Rice. I think some of you know her. And she had already, this was the first weekend after we shut down, and she had already raised several $1,000s for food insecure families in Vienna. And her company was doubled that. And so we started with just a conversation, what could we do? And out of that conversation that morning came the Vienna Student Food Initiative. And that initiative, our goal was to have 12 weeks of providing a gift card, a food card to families, starting with those who are already identified as needy on the weekends, right? But knowing it probably would grow. Well, we Belong had the privilege of administering and helping to fundraise along with Jordan and Christchurch Vienna. We raised over $121,000. It ran for 23 weeks, so we got people through the end of the summer. Actually, we had enough leftovers to give each of the schools cards to help them get started at the beginning of the school year. So it was really an incredible outpouring. And then not only was that, then there was businesses who came alongside and helped donate food, and as we gave cards, and Bras giving feminine products, and Barzali giving books. Just a number of organizations supporting it. So that was really an amazing experience. But our regular programs, a lot of them, community engagement is hard to do. So, but our tutoring, we were able to bring that all online. So we did we got that going fairly quickly. And so even as the school was struggling, we were able to meet with kids, and it was really encouraging. They were so excited to be not only engaged with us, and engaged with learning, but engaged with each other, because they were all in isolation. And then the summer came, and we did we continued actually to do our summer program that we usually had a 3-week camp. We did it online, a 5-week Zoom camp. And so we've continued doing that. We're doing, in fact, I ran into a little girl before we started our fall tutoring, and she asked me, when are we starting tutoring? I said, a couple weeks, and she said, yes. So that was really heartwarming. We're able to connect with people even through COVID. And then we still do food support. So we partner with Vienna Presbyterian Church. So we weren't doing this kind of food support before, but now we, with the community help, we collect about 200 bags every month of groceries. It's a prescribed list, and people from the community bring the groceries in, the bags of groceries, and then those are distributed throughout various parts of the community. Belong works specifically with Vienna Baptist to help Marshall Road Elementary families. And then the last area that is newer for us right now is we created this COVID relief fund or assistance fund to help with rent and utilities, because as you know, it's 9 months into the pandemic and people are really struggling to keep up with their rent. So this is an opportunity for a one-time gift for those who have lost work due to COVID to get a gift, and it goes straight to your landlord. So that's something we're fundraising for, and we've managed to help about 50 families at this point.
That's fantastic, Karen. Thank you. And Lydia, you talked about a little bit about how Foodies has changed during the pandemic, but the pandemic itself has kind of changed. So is there anything else you want to add?
Well, we still continue with the food deliveries, and maybe not so often breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but every week we're getting deliveries out. And really the group is more active than ever. Dozens of updates a day. And why that's important is all these updates help people remember restaurants and businesses. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I really focus now on is I encourage the town, whenever you go eat somewhere, please post a picture, show the meals, show the people behind the restaurant. You are the reviewer. You are the public relations, the marketing for the restaurant. They have a lot on their plate. Please help them, assist them. So actually, I always called myself a foodie, and I've learned about so many restaurants and places in Vienna. I've lived here all my life I didn't know about before. So everyone can learn. There's constantly things in the group. being presented. And we still continue with deliveries. One of the things we focused on that I'm most proud of is one day I told the group, okay, we focus a lot on Vienna. What about our neighboring friends in the city over, the town over? So I reached out to the group and I had told them, we're gonna do a fundraiser for Anacostia, DC. No pressure, but if anyone would like to donate, please do. And within 2 days, we raised $20,000. So we're always looking for not just Vienna, but the broader area. Who can we help? And I definitely always have to thank Michelle, who keeps this possible. She keeps motivating me to keep going and going, which I never expected this to get to where it is today.
It's amazing. I mean, you do have a lot of posts, and I know on Facebook, and so it's like a constant, I know, promotion. And I don't know if you do this with other people. I'm sure you do, but I know one day you reached out to one of my daughters who had posted with a big ice cream cone from a place in Vienna, and you said, Heather, put that on Vienna Va Foodies. So I don't know if you do this other, but that's
do.
immediate right there, just another promotion. Wow. And so many people, I want to go there.
That post actually did very well. So I always do scout. I look at people's personal Instagrams, Facebooks, and I say, why are you not putting that picture in the group? Go upload it right now. And I remember that one got dozens of likes. It was so colorful, happy,
right, uplifting photo. Yeah, kids know how, I mean, younger, they know how to do all that. You're younger. You all know how to do that better than I do. Okay, now, Michelle, how has Rustic Love changed over the pandemic, over the beginning to kind of now?
I mean, it's just grown exponentially. I mean, even at one point I tried to kind of shut it down because I needed to look for a job, but we've helped so many people, and it's just created this massive amount of goodwill, and we just want to keep going because we know that we're able to actually see the results in the community around us, which is just really, really rewarding.
Yeah, right. And the next question we've touched on a little bit, but if anybody has anything more to add, and we've already seen it with your two groups, of course, how you all work together. So Karen, are there other groups, you've mentioned a few, are there other groups that you have worked with Belong?
Belong's goal is really not to reinvent the wheel, but to really point people to resources that are already in the community. Or collaborate with. So we've worked with the Young Men's Service League to put together kits for tutoring for the kids, resources for the kids. We've worked with, certainly with the Committee for Helping Others, CHO, with emergency aid, and we share office with them. But like the school staff, they connect with us if they have families in need. Apartment managers, and then a lot of different Vienna Business Association contributed food cards to the Vienna Student Food Initiative. So it's been a great way to connect with we just had a lot of opportunities to connect with different resources, but that is our goal. We want to point people to the different resources that are already existing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And Lydia, what do you think? Are there any more other groups? I know you've mentioned a few.
Well, really, I want to bring the spotlight to the Vienna citizens. We have such an amazing town. Everyone wants to give. So many times that some days I tell them, okay, I can't accept messages today, but the community is always reaching out. What can I do today? To this day, at least 10 people, they say, do you need any deliveries done? What can I do? Ready to get in the car and do something. So everyone has really united in the town. Everyone's come together, no matter where people live, what they believe in. I really feel like our town is very unified. And I have to always bring it back to Michelle and Trish, who works alongside Michelle. I've never met them before until the pandemic came. They fully trusted me, and everything they make the signs every single day. They give 100% to the foodies. Even I say, okay, you've done enough now. You can go on and do another group. And they go, no, we are strong. We are passionate for Vienna Foodies. This is our pleasure. And they have many children that come join them and help, from Boy Scouts, Marshall Statesman Helping Hands, Girl Scouts, many children, neighborhood friends. They know better than me, but just sorry to say, she won't say this, but she's really incredible, and 100% goes to Foodies, nothing for their group. So I really am so grateful to them.
Right. We're grateful right back. I mean, Lydia's made such a huge difference in this town, honestly, and has inspired so many people. That's the reason why I even started this project. And for me, I've had so many people, and it's all just grassroots types of efforts, come and ask to help. Neighbors walking by. An acquaintance of mine from many years ago, like I mentioned, Trish Alexander with Vienna Sports, who offered to help me with merchandise. Grown women and families and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and a makerspace in Reston, and people just want to do something to help. And the great thing about the signs is this tangible thing that people can see, and it reminds you of what this town is doing together, which is why I think it's become so popular. And it's just great the way everyone has responded. I've lived here 18 years, and I'm so proud to live in this town with the amount of support that we've gotten, and being able to see this all around is just a constant reminder of all the people that have come out and wanted to help.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I've lived in this town for a long time, 52 years, and that's who we are. We really do support each other and come together, and it just, you see that community love, and nothing, that's it right there. I mean, we see that.
Neighbors loving neighbors.
And neighbors loving. I know, when you said that, I thought, wow, that's a great way to start our night. So what about challenges? What have been your biggest challenges? Have you had any, Karen? What do you think?
Well, I think that, so we live in an amazing community, but for me, the pandemic has highlighted the disparities in our community. So, as we closed down, a lot of people could take their job and work from home, but then there's a whole group of people that couldn't, and they've lost their jobs. And or like school, for when kids are at home, especially in the spring, either there's families with no internet or really poor internet, or lack of technology, but just the struggles or language barriers to understanding what the school wants from them. I mean, those things have it's really highlighted that. And what's so beautiful is to see the community come together, like through the Foodies, to help feed people and to help take care of some of those issues that were kind of becoming very real and very exaggerated. So that's been, I guess is it a challenge? It's more just, I just see that, that it's there. There's families that really struggle with, we're a society that needs technology. And if you don't have access, or if you don't understand it, it's hard.
Yeah, that's true. When you were talking about your tutoring, are all the kids on it together? Or is it one-on-one? Because you said they enjoyed like seeing each other again.
Yeah, so we use Zoom, and we come into the large group, and then they go into small groups. So we use the breakout rooms, and we have like 3 kids to 2 tutors. So we have to have 2 tutors for safety purposes, and because kids get bounced out, and or even adults get bounced out. So you always have 2 leaders.
Sure.
So they're in smaller groups, age groups. But then we have times where we're all together. We've done STEM projects where they're building something all together, art projects. So, but even that, I mean, it is some groups I've had gone to the house to try to help get them on Zoom, and it could take 5. Well, the Fairfax County's computers are a little slow, but they can take 5 minutes just to join the Zoom group. So those resources are limited, and you think of kids who are trying to do school, and if you're 2nd grade and you really don't know how to use a computer, and you don't have a parent that maybe has a lot of experience with technology, it's doubly hard.
Sure. Well, that's the tutoring service, I think. I mean, all your services, but that is one that's really different, and I'm so glad you all are doing that. And Lydia, what challenges have you had? I'm sure it hasn't been completely smooth sailing.
One of the challenges, and it's also a blessing, is just the group keeps growing and growing, and every day a few hundred more join in. So it's a lot of requests coming in, whether it's from restaurants who need our help or citizens that want to help. So sometimes, because I do this as a volunteer, it takes a while for me to just get back, but it's very fulfilling. I'm so happy to do it. And I know one of the challenges for Vienna is that winter is coming. And so many of the restaurants tell me, please continue the activity on Foodies. Let the posts keep coming. We need it. We were okay when the weather was good. It was summer, but now it's getting cold and people need to come still with blankets and layers. So even a few of them have left, do photo shoots at each restaurant showing cute blankets and cute layers. But I think we've kept going. The winter's going to be hard. We need to keep going strong and keep the momentum going. Businesses really need us, and the pandemic so far is continuing. So we have to just follow and keep adapting.
Yep. Agree. And Michelle, what about you? Challenges that you've seen?
Our main challenge is resources. I mean, Karen touched on that. The majority of what we do is built by children, and they're in school, and we're coming on some inclement weather, and it's going to be hard to be able to produce some of these things. It takes some time, and so we're just kind of constantly running up against that. This summer, we ran into some weird challenges with not being able to find lumber and even spray paint colors because the mills were closed for a period of time because of the pandemic. So there were these crazy shortages when we try to go just build some signs. So I just wanted to kind of make sure I mentioned that we are trying really hard to continue it, and we'll keep taking volunteers and maybe find a better space when the weather's bad, since these are all produced outside. But we do want to keep supporting Lydia and the Foodies mission.
And you said you first started making the signs in your house, but they aren't all being made in your house now, correct?
Correct. So we started in our backyard, and we've had so many wonderful volunteers that have taken parts of the project over. We have the Statesman Helping Hands, which is a group of seniors at Marshall High School. Actually, it's all grades in high school, but we've had a Boy Scout make 100+ signs, and a Girl Scout troop, and the Makerspace in Reston had a ton of people come and volunteer with like a robotics team from South Lakes High School. There's just been so many people coming to my house and working outside, working on our ornaments for the sale this past weekend, and it's been very rewarding. But making sure that we can kind of continue that funnel is going to be a challenge.
Oh, for sure. And do they provide their own materials? Do you kind of have a pattern that they follow?
Right.
I'm very curious about that. It's just amazing.
We have a supply list that we follow, and kind of a production style that we use. They're all a little different depending on who's made them, which is totally fine. But we have templates that we use to make them look uniform and things like that.
I love that you say they are a little different. I think that's actually really special. It's funny because people actually notice that. Oh, do you have one that has a full background in one color or a different? I didn't even know, but it's really neat. And I like that there's like more colors coming out too.
I have to add to that Michelle really takes care of the quality behind it. So every Rustic cart that ends up being sold through Rustic Love Vienna, she actually checks it. Yes, so there's a lot of love, a lot of logistics. It really is quality controlled.
Yeah, I think every sign has funneled through me or Trish Alexander. She has a huge number of signs that her team produced, except for Nicholas Montalto, who was our Boy Scout, and he did it all on his own.
Very good job.
He did an amazing job. Lots of hard work on his part.
Yeah, they are. They are in great shape. I mean, all the weather mine's been through, and I went up to it's in my garden the other day, and I kind of went like this, and it was just in there so steady and looked great. I was like, wow, these things are awesome. So that we just talked about challenges. What about, has anything surprised you, either pleasantly or not, but just like a real surprise that you really didn't expect at all? Karen.
Well, I shouldn't have been. In a way, I shouldn't be surprised, but because I've lived in Vienna now for 20 years, I love this town. But really, the absolute generosity and speed with which people are donating, and just as Lydia and Michelle are talking about, just the absolute generosity and compassion of our community has really been remarkable and just so heartwarming. For Belong, one of the things that has been a pleasant surprise is when we were doing the tutoring in person, there was no connection with parents per se, but having to move to tutoring online and setting people up with Zoom, we've actually been able to go face-to-face with parents and calls and texts. And so we've had like this, we've been on speed dial for getting relationship building, which has really been a huge blessing. I love meeting families. I love getting to connect moms and kids. And so that has been a delightful surprise for me. As we've gone into this isolation, I've actually been able to meet more people in the community that we're working. And honestly, I've been delighted that I could make such fun connections with kids via Zoom. That's been a lot of fun.
That's very interesting, because I know a lot of us are like, oh, another Zoom, but it's neat to hear the good things that come out of it too. That's great. Lydia, what do you think? Surprises, pleasant surprises, maybe not pleasant surprises?
Yes, so to continue with that is those beginning months, I was on true isolation in my room.
Yes.
I mean, I am a social person. I'm always at any event I can find, and my whole social life went away. So being in my room on my computer with this group, Vienna Foodies, I always felt connected. It was constantly meeting new people. And why I say that this is important is helping people. There's no greater feeling than that. So I could have been very sad if I didn't have this in my room and the shock of everything. But I united with the town, everyone stepped up, and truly the days were exhausting in a good way. From waking up at 8 a.m. till 11 p.m., just coordinating all day long, phone calls with citizens and organizations and businesses, and the days went by fast. So now that we're still doing this, I look back and it just looked like a whirlwind. The pandemic went by very fast for me the past few months. So it did go very fast, and I'm so grateful. And I still can't believe how this really evolved from just talking about food to now we're very giving back based, charity based, community based. It's more than just food, but food unites everyone together.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens after the pandemic with all the groups. We'll come back and have another group talk.
Yes.
Michelle, anything that surprised you?
I mean, this whole thing has surprised me, honestly. It's just, I never would have imagined, and people ask me about it all the time. I'm just floored at how this has kind of evolved. And, I'm just really grateful personally for these amazing friendships I have with my new business partner, and Lydia, who I am just so impressed with. And I've been able to connect with people even though we're socially distanced, old friends, new friends, and introducing my children to real sincere philanthropy, which is an amazing thing to be able to have to come out of this pandemic, to have such a good thing for them and have other children be inspired by that. A terrible thing can actually lead to some good things.
That's true. So have you all seen any other needs in the community that maybe your group couldn't help, but you think maybe somebody else could start a group? Or is there something that you still think is maybe lacking that, because you guys are doing so much. But I just know that people are watching, and maybe, somebody wants to start something. Is there anything you all can think of? Karen, can you think of anything? And if not, that's okay too.
I had more of a thought on just You know, one thing that came to mind for me was more just remembering our fellow neighbor who's working in the restaurants or the dry cleaner, the barber, and talking to them, thanking them for their work, helping them feel seen, and yeah, just being a neighbor.
That's true. We can all do that. That's right. Checking in on each other and just checking, helping each other too. Lydia?
So with Foodies, we try to keep it revolving around food, but there were many times more than food, there were families that needed things. So there has been a spin-off group that's come from Vienna Foodies from two teachers, Grace and Sharon. They started a group called Community Cares Vienna. So more than just Foodies, there's a group that helps provide items that families might need, babies might need, and they're all in this area. And then also there's some people who still need some basic items. So we've partnered with Caboose for groceries. So more than just eating at restaurants, there's still some people, there's still trouble finding Clorox wipes and toilet paper. Some families still have trouble getting that. So there are different outlets besides Vienna Foodies, and if anyone's interested, I'm happy to connect them, but we have many bases covered. It's much more bigger than Foodies can handle, and so many amazing community members have stepped up to help, yes.
Right. And anything to add, Michelle?
I just think that, you know, everyone has already come up with some really interesting initiatives, and I'm just keep thinking about what Karen was saying earlier about being able to help people with their rent. That's something that I had not even thought of, and what a wonderful way to help. I mean, this is just going on and on, where people need more and more help because there's no end in sight. So people can just do whatever they can, and just the action is sort of the key. You never know what will come of it. Look at what happened here.
Yes.
Doing art with your kids is that's amazing. So I'm sure everybody is wondering, how can they help your organization? What can they do to donate? I get that question sometimes, about a lot of things in town. So right now, I'm sure people are saying, oh my gosh, I want to help out. I want to do something. So Karen, how can people donate, volunteer? What are the opportunities for them?
Yeah, well, you can go on to belongvienna.org and donate to our rental program. Or we're always looking for tutors. The more tutors we have, the more we can invite more children to get involved. And every month we're doing the food distribution, these bags of love. And people can sign up to both bring the bags, like buy, purchase and bring them, or to help distribute them, or even to help to make a card to put into the bag. And then there's just, if you have ideas and want to explore an idea of how to love a neighbor, call Belong. We'd love to talk to you about how we could explore and work together.
Okay, and all that can be found on the website pretty much.
Yeah, belongvienna.org.
Okay, and I'll post that. Okay, that's great. Okay, Lydia, Vienna Foodies.
So one of the easiest things people can do is join the group and post about the restaurant, the dish that they love, highlight someone who works at one of these businesses and give them spotlight. That's one thing from their house. Costs no money to do, and it's a great help. We have partnered with Caboose Brewing to get these grocery packs, and actually we've provided over 900 grocery packs, and a few of about 100, a little over 100 Caboose is actually paid for on their own. So the businesses are stepping up as well, but anyone could do any fundraiser, whether it's making bracelets or making some kind of craft, Girl Scout groups, Boy Scout groups, just families, anything. There's so much you can do, raise money, and you can actually help Caboose. And then another way is we do constantly partner up with organizations and charities, and we have many people that we've helped. So you just have to follow the flow of the group, because every week I usually announce something that I've chosen to partner with. So the holidays are coming, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm sure we're going to be feeding a lot of families with Thanksgiving meals. So please join Vienna Foodies and stay tuned to see opportunities, yes.
Okay, thanks. And Michelle?
We've had a lot of people volunteer already, and they keep coming, so I'm happy to have more and more people join what we're doing. I think our biggest challenge moving forward that we could use some ideas on is how to have an outdoor space that we can continue to produce things. We have super smelly paint on both our ornaments and our signs, and we are using wood that has chemicals in it, so we can't have indoor spaces for a lot of the stuff we're producing. So moving forward, that's our challenge, and look for maybe a little ingenuity there.
Yeah. Now, I see that you have some items under your chair. Can you show us
Sure.
some things that people can buy, and all the proceeds go to?
That's right. All
Vienna
the
Foodies.
proceeds go to the foodies. And we obviously started with our signs. And like I've been mentioning, the wonderful Trish Alexander has helped produce all this different kind of merchandise. We have these great blankets that we're trying to kind of promote for outdoor dining. They're very thick, sweatshirt materials, and they're super cute. We have all sorts of different T-shirts like the one I'm wearing, and look, cute little baby shirt. And masks, and if you might drive around town and see our magnets, I think I saw one on your car in the parking lot.
Yes.
And for the Vienna Art Society sale we were at on this past Sunday, we created a big volume of ornaments. So they're just like little miniature replicas of our signs. And hopefully people can bring those out every year and remember there's this really good thing that our town did, and we all banded together during this difficult year. And another kind of ornament that we're now using as a little wine decoration.
Just saw that tonight. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
cute. And these can be purchased on your website.
And we have a website. It's rusticlovevienna.com, and we also link to my partner's merchandise site where you can buy all of these things.
Right. Excellent. Ladies, do you have anything else you want to add tonight? Is there any question I didn't ask, any information you want to get out that you haven't said?
Thank you for having us. And I've known you, Madam Mayor, and Councilman Howard Springsteen I've known you since I was a little girl, and Howard Springsteen for over 10 years, but you two have really led the way. People ask, oh, how did you think to do this? And you've taught me, from both of you, since I was little, to always give back to the community. So it's so fulfilling, and I encourage anyone can do this, anyone can get involved. It's so easy, and if they want to get started, I'm happy to help, but kind of almost you've passed the torch and taught me, so now I'm happy. But I'm so happy to see these kids, Michelle Devela, these young kids working. It's so beautiful. I want to cry when I see them. I asked them, they're all in their 14 years old, and they have skill set that people don't learn till later. I watched them at the holiday market. The line was to the street. Dozens and dozens of people socially distant, and these kids were ready, going through each one with, even though they were wearing masks, I could tell they were smiling and giving the best customer service. So anyone can help, and I'd love to see more children and teens step up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's good for them to do, because online school, I mean, there's just, so many things that they're not doing right now. So it's kind of nice for them to get out in the community and do that.
Yes.
Well, ladies, you three have big hearts, and Vienna is so lucky to have you all. I mean, really, I get choked up just looking at you all and knowing that how many people have helped in this pandemic. You three are some. I know there's others. I don't want to say that there aren't other groups. You are three that I know, and so I chose you to highlight. But thank you so much for all you're doing, and know that the town is behind you, and anything we can do to help, we're here to help. So thanks so much for being
so
here
much.
tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you so much.
Okay, and that's it. Good night, everybody. Oh, no, we might have some Zoom. Do we have any Zoom questions before we say good night? Who's that? Oh, yes, let's have Jane. Shouldn't. So we are Zooming, so we might have a couple people that have questions tonight or something to add. And is there anyone from the audience that wants to say something, that has a question, wants to add anything? Okay. Okay, and has she, but she's, okay. Okay, that might be it then. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll say goodnight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.